Do you remember? What do you remember about the houses that you lived in as a child? What were they like?
First little house that where I was born we called it the little square topped house, and I guess it only had probably 2 rooms, just the kitchen and living room together and the bedroom. I don't remember for sure, but I know that it had no screens on the windows or doors. And when I was maybe about 1 or 2, Aunt Rose and Uncle John were at the house, and it was raining, and Dad was always looking at the clouds and looking at the rain. And he was standing at the door watching it rain, and came back in, and Mother said, "You pushed the baby out the door." And he said, "I thought that was the dog." And they opened the door, and I was laying out in the muddy rain.
Whoops.
And he had pushed me out, and it embarrassed Daddy really bad.
That means you were underfoot a little bit there, huh?
I was always where my daddy was. I was right there.
Did your daddy ever give you any whippings for anything when you were little?
First one I remember, I was sitting in the high chair, and my little dog was down on the floor, and I think it was peanut butter and cracker, and I started to push it off, and Dad says, "Don't push that off." And I kept pushing real slow, and I kept pushing, and it fell off for the dog, and Dad got the razor strap.
So that's where we get our stubbornness that some people have. Persistence.
That is the first, and I didn't get many. The razor strap, he could just pop it one time, and you did whatever he said do. And one thing about my parents, when they said no, it was no. We never asked a second time, or we never asked why. We couldn't do anything. Mm-hmm. And we moved from that little square-topped house, and in the next house that we moved into, it had 3 rooms, a real long kitchen, and living room, and 2 bedrooms. And that's where my brothers Dale and Elsie were born. And I don't remember too much about what we did there, except we played outside a whole lot.
How was that house heated, or how'd you get
We had a coal heater or wood. Well, it was coal. It was a cast iron stove, and we always laughed. Dad always kept it red hot on one side, and you'd get cold if you got away from it, but you got up close to it, it was red hot. And they had to build a fire in it every morning.
How about cooling the house? Was it
just open the doors, and they had no screens, so we used what we'd call cup towels or tea towels. Every morning, or just before we'd eat lunch, we'd all get a cup towel and dry the flies out, so they wouldn't be so bad when we ate at the table. And everybody did this. I mean, that was just common practice.
So was there electricity in the house?
No electricity.
So how did you see?
We had one cool old burning lamp, and whatever room that was in. Later on, I remember Daddy got what they called a rail lamp, and it had instead of a wick, it had a mantle, and it made a real bright light, we thought, and it was real good. But if you let one candle bug or bug get into it, this little mantle was made out of something real delicate, and if that bug hit that mantle, it went out. And I don't guess they were so expensive, but you had to buy them, and we didn't have the money to replace them.